Good afternoon. Call to order the April 24th, 2025 Diversion Board Authority to order and have Dawn take the roll.
Mayor Carlson.
Here.
Mayor Dardis.
Here.
Mayor Mahoney.
Here.
Mr. Brightling.
Here.
Mr. Hendrickson.
Here.
Mr. Pepcorn.
Here.
Mr. Ebinger.
Here.
Ms. Kolpak.
Here.
Mr. Campbell.
Here.
Mr. Capitan.
Here.
Mr. Grimberg.
Here.
Mr. Steen.
Here.
And Ms. Morgan.
Here.
That is everyone.
Thank you, Dawn. Look for a motion to approve the minutes or discussion on item 2.
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 3, look for a motion to approve the order of the agenda.
Move to approve.
Or second. Moved and seconded. Discussion? Hearing none. Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 4. What are your wishes on the consent agenda?
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Discussion? Hearing none, we'll have Dawn take the roll.
Mayor Carlson.
Yes.
Mayor Dardis.
Yes.
Mayor Mahoney.
Yes.
Mr. Brightling.
Yes.
Mr. Hendrickson.
Yes.
Mr. Pepcorn.
Aye.
Mr. Ebinger.
Aye.
Ms. Kolpak.
Aye.
Mr. Campbell.
Yes.
Mr. Capitan.
Yes.
Mr. Grimberg.
Aye.
Mr. Steen.
Yes.
And Ms. Morgan.
Yes.
That is everyone.
Thank you, Dawn. Regular agenda, item 5, Executive Director update. Jason Benson.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chair, board members. April was a busy month for us. We got up to the city of Horace several times. First for a meeting, public meeting on upcoming road closures on County Road 16 and 17 near the inlet control structure. And that's predominantly Corps of Engineer-led closures for construction of the southern embankment and the roundabout intersection at, which will be the new intersection for County Road 16 and 17. We also attended a meeting last week for the City Council that approved several plats. First, several parcels along the BNSF, the old rail line that were platted, and those were all approved. And then one plat for the diversion channel on the south side of Horace. Over the last month, I've also continued to have discussions with Terry Williams and Carl Jansen from the St. Paul District of the Corps Engineers. I was able to be down in St. Paul and meet with them in person. So it's great to continue that relationship and the discussions on the wide variety of project components that the Corps of Engineers is not only constructing, but our components of the project that they're very interested in. Staff-wise, we've also continued to build on our products for the O&M phase and continue to move that along as we work towards having the larger O&M plan complete later this year. And then lastly, the Minnesota legislative session and funding. We're coming down to the home stretch in the last month or so of the legislative session. There is bills in both the Senate and the House side regarding bonding, and both bills we have funding in the bills for the diversion, the $60.4 million for the Moorhead projects, the $16 million for the lift stations, as well as the $44 million for the various Clay County and Buffalo Red watershed projects. And those discussions really led to a great interaction last week where we were able to meet with Governor Walz here in Moorhead, get him up to speed on all the changes that have happened on the project, and both Representative Keeler and Senator Kupek were able to be in attendance. So great event. The mayor was able to be there, and great to get support from the governor on this project, and so we'll continue to work diligently and effectively along with our partners from the Chamber of Commerce towards continue to reach out legislatively on the bonding bills and work towards getting that $60.4 million. And with that, I'll take any questions, and that's my report.
Questions for Mr. Benson? Mayor Carlson?
Thank you, Chair. I know that I said this yesterday, but I think it bears saying again that we just really appreciated the very succinct and detailed overview that you provided to the governor, and Representative Joy and Representative Keeler and Senator Kupek on the magnitude of this project and the history that went into developing the Joint Powers Agreement. I think it was probably the first time that I'm aware of that we were able to actually sit down with the governor and with our local representatives and senator to talk about the full depth of the project. So just wanted to commend you on that, and also to give a shout of gratitude to the Chamber of Commerce for working to pull together all of these partners to have them in one room for 45 minutes, which was just an incredible feat to work and schedule all those different people, because we had representation from Clay County, the Chamber of Commerce, Buffalo Red Watershed District, and then the Diversion Project, and obviously the City of Moorhead as well. And hopefully this will be, a year that we can get a substantial portion of that $60 million on top of the, I think it's $120 or $130 million that the state of Minnesota has already contributed towards a Minnesota share of the project. So thank you very much for that.
Further questions? Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Mr. John Shockley, General Counsel update.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the Diversion Authority Board. I do have 2 items for you today. The first is an update regarding the Technical Dispute Review Board. Over the last month, we've been very busy. You'll recall the Diversion Authority Board appointed its member last month, and that was Mr. Chris Kane. The developer has appointed its member, Mr. Randall Hafner. The parties, through the efforts, we had interviewed multiple potential chairs for the board. After making a selection of up to 5 potential candidates that would go to the 2 wing members, as it's referred to as the DRB board members. We have submitted those potential names to the 2 DRB board members who will make the decision regarding the chair. They don't have a specific time limitation. I suspect that they will be interviewing those 5 members themselves to make a decision of who they'd like to chair the board. The members are Duncan, and they're all attorneys, by the way, Mr. Duncan Blackholt, Mr. Kurt Detman, Francis McDonald, John Jokowitz, and Mr. Elguero Jr. All very well respected within the construction industry and arbitration and DRB board proceedings. I've also had an opportunity to meet with the counsel for RVA and ASN regarding the administration of the DRB proceedings and making sure that we're in compliance with the open meetings law. Tentatively, we're planning to use the Cass County Commission chambers as the location at which we would hold the TDRB hearings, or we still have to work out, maybe there's some additional rooms at the Cass County Courthouse that could be used. That's subject to final approval by the developer to make sure that they're comfortable with using the Cass County Courthouse. We're also working through making sure how we'll be posting the notices and meeting minutes, given that as general counsel, I can't have ex parte communications with the DRB board members. And so we're still working through that technical issue, but I think we have a workaround for that. I did want to note that given that the board is operating under its current structure with 3 attorneys and all of the meetings and deliberations being in public, we do expect that there'll be more time put in the technical DRB than originally expected or budgeted for. Technical DRBs were envisioned under project agreements as a group of engineers that would be available to help the engineering representatives to work through potential issues. For example, if there was a technical dispute between the authority's diversion engineer and the developer's engineer, DRBs were envisioned as an opportunity for them to meet with the DRB, sort of like in a mediation session, work through what that engineering result would be. provide some guidance to the parties, given that it's become far more procedural heavy and subject to open meetings, and also because it's subject to open meetings, it can be used in court proceedings in the future. I just want to be very clear and transparent that it is going to be a higher cost than what we had originally envisioned for the DRB process. And candidly, it's something that we didn't estimate that we would include that cost of the DRB proceedings, and we have a DRB that we have to maintain. So happy to answer any questions about the process. I'll continue giving updates until the technical DRB is fully stood up. We do also have a financial DRB. The chair, we need to still have the chair appointed to the financial DRB. Once the chair is appointed to the technical DRB, then we'll go through the same process of having the two members appoint the chair of the FDRB.
Questions? Hearing none, continue.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I apologize for not having a memo or any additional briefing materials on the second subject. It's been a very dynamic and fluid situation. Maybe bring the board up to speed. You'll recall approximately 2 months, the board held an executive session to direct council and the executive director and the chair regarding negotiation parameters to enforce the separation agreement with the former executive director, Mr. Paulson. On Monday of this week, April 21st, 2025, in the matter of Cass County Joint Water Resource District versus Broughton et al., Judge Van de Streek had ruled from the bench to disqualify Mr. Paulson as an expert witness. As you may recall, he was testifying on behalf of as an expert engineering consultant on behalf of the landowners. Obviously, we felt that wasn't appropriate given that the potential sharing of confidential information and negotiation parameters. On Wednesday, the chair, former chair Carlson, myself, and Executive Director Benson and Deputy Executive Director Wilson attended the mediation of the separation agreement, trying to enforce it. We were unable to reach a successful resolution during that mediation. The mediator in that case was former Judge Magistrate Klein. She had also been the mediator on the original case. As a result, we still don't have the official order of Judge Van de Streek. He said that he would also be supplementing his order by a written order, being a little bit more clear about what the parameters of the contact was regarding Mr. Paulson's involvement with one of the attorneys who also represents him personally, that's also representing the landowner. So we expect that there will be a final written order relatively soon in that matter. Given that this is a dynamic situation, we're still evaluating what our next steps for the diversion authority are, and given the need to protect the confidential information of the board, it was my advice, along with the consensus of the chair as an executive director, to ask the board to give the executive director authority over the next month to take whatever action is necessary, up to and including commencing litigation, directing me to commence litigation to enforce the separation agreement provisions. We don't know if we're going to need to commence litigation yet, but given that the potential is there, we would like that option to go ahead and commence it if needed, and then we'd report back to the board next month. And I'm happy to answer any questions that I can.
Questions of Mr. Shockley?
I would make the motion proposed by Attorney Shockley.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion? Ample time. Don, please take the roll.
Mayor Carlson.
Yes.
Mayor Dardis.
Yes.
Mayor Mahoney.
Aye.
Mr. Brightling.
Yes.
Mr. Hendrickson.
Yes.
Mr. Pepcorn.
Aye.
Mr. Ebinger.
Aye.
Ms. Kolpat.
Aye.
Mr. Campbell.
Yes.
Mr. Capitan.
Yes.
Mr. Grimberg.
Aye.
Mr. Steen,
Yes.
and Ms. Morgan.
Yes.
And that is everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 7, project updates. Welcome, Terry Williams.
Good afternoon, Chair Grinberg and board members. This is Terry Williams, and this is the Corps' update for April. For the diversion inlet structure, the gate machinery install is ongoing, and it looks like we'll be commissioning that structure in May with firm dates to be set. Wild Rice River structure completions in August. Commissioning and training is still TBD on that. The Red River structure, the flyover, is gorgeous, and it's really impressive to see now that the dam walls are being built and the bridge decking across those dam walls and the apron in front of the structure. SE2A, that contractor is supposed to be mobilizing any day, and they're being pushed to complete this work, SE2A, in August. Going down to all of our embankment contracts, our contractors have just mobilized or are preparing to do so for this construction season, and we should see the percent completes for these embankments rise dramatically this construction season. For the forest mitigation contracts, 1 and 2, the same contractor got both of those, and I think they're starting to either plant this week or next week at those sites. With that ends my update unless there's any questions.
Questions for Terry? Thank you. Next
Thank
up,
you.
Chris Bockyguard.
Thank you, Chair Grimberg, members of the Diversion Authority. Quick construction update today. A lot of the items will be covered in the drone video, so I'll try to gloss over just a few of the other items that we don't cover. As Jason mentioned, the County Road 1617 area will be closing as the Corps begins their work. That'll also lead us into the start of Channel Reach 14, which coincides with that. Once the roadways are closed, the developer can start working in that area, and they plan to. The Authority Administration Building, for those on the Fargo City Commission, they did approve the plat for the rezoning and platting of the diversion site building, and now the developer is finalizing the construction permits, anticipating that work will also start here in that next 30 to 60 day window. Maybe Paul, slide to the next page on the bridges. It's kind of a big ramp up month for construction outside of the channel work. So many of the bridge sites are beginning to work again. As you see, there's 4 on here where there's new activity, anticipating that will continue at a very rapid pace. You'll see a couple of bridges highlighted in the drone video as well. So with that probably covers most of what you won't see in the drone video. So if there's any questions on construction, I can certainly stand for those quick.
Questions? Okay.
On the safety update, another good month for safety. There was one really minor recordable event. A finger got pinched in between a couple pieces of form work. A minor injury, but otherwise another good safety month across the entire program. So if there aren't any questions, I can wrap up the safety update as well.
Looks like you're wrapping up.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Thank you. Paul?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the board. Just the entire packet from the PMC and the overview of the P3 is in your packet, but I would like to just highlight a couple things, especially our technical and our design review team. They are actually finishing up their work. We're pretty well complete with the designs. A couple areas that we have been focused on are the access and security, the roadways, the various parking areas to allow public access into and around the diversion channel area. And so we're finishing those designs up and those design reviews up. The other area is a lot of work with the developer and the Corps on the aqueducts and the downstream meanders and some of the work there, finalizing that. There's also been a lot of discussion with the developer on long-term operations and maintenance of the aqueducts. And so how can we incorporate a design now that will work for operations and maintenance for the first 30 years while the developer maintains it, but then also long-term after that, so it will be a viable solution for the authority in the years after the after the developer leaves. The other thing that we've been focusing on too is communication and coordination, especially with the NDDOT. We have monthly meetings with them just to provide updates on construction, but then any issues that they've been having or traffic management, those type of things, or any adjustments to their specifications, and being able to incorporate those into the project itself. Same thing with Cass County, regular meetings with them. They're very much involved with all the bridges and bridge oversight. Matt Stamness has been a great help from the county perspective, and so appreciate all the work he's been doing. And finally, also with BNSF, with the the four bridges, or actually four rail lines, the three crossings that we have with them. They and their engineering team have been on site all the time, and we've been coordinating with them on regular meetings. So with that, focusing in on getting the project wrapped up and getting the project design wrapped up, and so that we can continue to make any other minor modifications in the field, any field adjustments, and review those. So any questions on what our technical team has been working on? And then also, again, put the open invitation out there. If you see something in the packet, something you have questions on the P3, please feel free to reach out to either myself or Mr. Bakkegaard.
Questions? Thank you, sir.
All right.
Work on the Red River structure is about 3/4 complete after numerous portions were tackled by the contractor recently. I'm Tom Fuchs, Senior Construction Manager for the Metro Flood Diversion Authority, with those and other construction highlights for the month. Numerous crossings over the stormwater diversion channel are at various stages of construction. At County Road 14, just west of Horace, North Dakota, bridge girders were installed atop the completed bridge abutments and piers this last month. For all bridges to be built as part of the stormwater diversion channel, more than 500 girders are necessary, of which nearly half have been installed to date. On I-94 west of West Fargo, drivers will notice lane closures have resumed as work on this site picks back up for the season. With the concrete substructure elements completed and girders installed last fall for both the east and westbound bridges, ASN is resuming its work installing falsework and decking in preparation for concrete placement in the coming months. "19 bridges will eventually span the 30-mile channel, where ASN Constructors has been excavating in reaches 12 and 13. Once the remaining frost is out of the ground, levee construction is anticipated to resume. In Reach 1 of the channel, work is now underway for the first of 12 overhead power utilities to be relocated as part of the stormwater diversion channel. Crews are installing steel poles for the Minn-Kota power transmission line, where it will cross the channel near the combined crossing for County Roads 4 and 31. As we move south to the Cheyenne River Aqueduct, we see the last large concrete placement for the aqueduct's flume and conduit base. ASN Constructors is also driving piling and placing concrete on the wing wall footings, and they've begun placing formwork and concrete at several of the flume's abutments and piers as well. The last stop on our drone tour this month is the massive Red River structure. Ames Construction, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers contractor, has been working on many portions of the structure. They recently placed close to 1,500 cubic yards of concrete for a large portion of the structure's upstream approach apron. Concrete work continues at the structure's adjacent floodwalls as well. East of the structure, we can see footings and piers underway, and west of the structure, crews recently placed a portion of the floodwall bridge deck. You can stay up to date on construction progress and more by subscribing to the Diversion Current.
Amy.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and members of the board. There was really nothing out of the normal routine really this past month. The March construction update received good coverage as well. We helped prepare for Governor Walz's visit with some of the collateral materials. And the newsletter got a lot of great feedback, especially by featuring Dr. Zimmerman and all of his history with flooding in the area and the project. And so that really turned into a great piece. Beyond that, I just encourage you to keep an eye out on newsstands in another week for the Good Life magazine. Mr. Benson will be featured for all of his military service, and it's a very impressive career. So you'll have a chance to see a feature on him in that magazine coming up. With that, I'm open to any questions.
Questions? Thank you. Eric?
Good afternoon, Board. Happy to present the monthly land status report. On this page, you're quite familiar. Again, green is good, meaning we've acquired all the rights necessary for the project. The next page is the overall pie charts. On the left-hand side, construction footprint. No change in the last month. On the right-hand side, we did have one parcel close in the upstream mitigation area, so again, we're inching closer and closer. This page breaks that down just a little bit further. The only thing outstanding for the construction footprint is a few parcels on Minnesota where we've acquired the property right, but we haven't completed the valuation step in that process yet. Again, the upstream mitigation area, you saw that. Lots of numbers on that slide, depending if you like to look at the numbers by parcel or if you like to look at them by owner. Multiple owners, several owners own more than one parcel, and so that's the background behind that slide. In the last month, our land agent teams and our lands program team has been much, keeping busy with a lot of the same activities as we have the last few months, trying to negotiate settlements where we can. We did close on two parcels, one of them in the upstream area, one of them for the Cheyenne benching project. We're down to less than a handful of appraisals to complete for the entire project, so we're looking forward to that day. Hopefully here in early May, we'll complete all those. We are continuing to manage the disposal of excess lands. That's really consuming quite a bit of effort over the last few months, working with some sections of the Horace Rail Corridor and other pieces of excess land scattered across the project. In the last month, we did stake some of the areas that are next to construction and wanting to make sure that the farmers know where they should and should not be planting. So hopefully we avoid any conflicts that way. And then there are some occupied properties in Minnesota that we've been working with those owners to issue vacate notices and make sure that they're moving out of harm's way as we get ready to relocate those structures. The last slide here is just a summary of some of our land agent team. They're assisting us with all these activities, in summary, helping with people who are relocating, helping do walkthroughs as people are leaving their properties, helping process some RIMP reimbursement accounts, and then continuing to negotiate where they can. So with that, I'd be happy to stand for any questions.
Questions for Eric? Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor Dardis?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Diversion Authority Finance Committee met yesterday.
This reporting period, payables that were presented was $2,252,028.99. Our net cash position is $312,918,337. And by the agenda, on your consent agenda, there were 3 items that were presented to the Finance Committee, all of which were approved, and that's why they've been moved to the consent agendas, and that's the MOUs and agreements and the board contracting and actions and budget amendments. Stand for any questions.
Questions? Continue.
That's all I have.
Okay. Other business? Hearing none, we'd look for a motion to move the printed language for a closed executive session.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, Don will take the roll.
Mayor Carlson.
Yes.
Mayor Dardis.
Yes.
Mayor Mahoney. Mr. Breitling.
Yes.
Mr. Hendrickson.
Yes.
Mr. Pepcorn.
Aye.
Mr. Ebinger.
Aye.
Ms. Colpat.
Aye.
Mr. Campbell.
Yes.
Mr. Capitan.
Yes.
Mr. Grimberg.
Aye.
Mr. Steen.
Yes.
And Ms. Borgen.
Yes.
That is everyone.
We'll recess to the room and remind everyone that we do need to come back here to officially adjourn.
Chair Grinberg, I move to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.